Welcome into, this is kind of the first time I've ever done this, but a little combined 11 here. I brought in Grayson Gauthier, one of my friends from back home, Man City fan with Liverpool, going up against Manchester City this weekend, I believe. When this comes out, it'll probably be the next weekend. It'll be Liverpool versus City. Liverpool, now that they are champions, will get a Guardian of Honor. Maybe not as big of a game as it could have been if Liverpool hadn't won the league yet, but as me and Grayson were just talking about before we came on, Liverpool might be searching for points, and what we didn't mention is Manchester City might still be kind of trying to stay in the top four, even though they're basically almost a lock at this point, if not already. Grayson, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Feeling good.
All right, well, without further ado, let's jump right into it. We're going to start with goalkeeper. Who do you think should be in the goalkeeper spot for the combined 11?
Well, normally we would put Ederson in there because, he's always in there. But I think this game we're probably going to put Bravo in goal just because it's not a must-win game. And plus he's a decent goalie anyway, so I don't see why we shouldn't play him. So I think he'll start.
He's lost the plot.
So the premises of this is that we make one team that's the best Liverpool and Manchester City teams in one.
Okay.
So who do you think? I'd probably be Allison.
Okay. No, then
we can restart if you want.
Yeah, then obviously Allison. Yeah. All right.
You think Allison?
No, that's fine. It's fine. Obviously Allison, though.
But
and in terms of me, like as a player, I would say Ederson because like it's easy to just drop the ball back to him and he can give it right back or like make a pass. But Allison's probably the better goalie like overall, so I'd definitely say him.
Yeah, Allison also, he's been pretty good this season with I think he's leading Golden Glove with, I think it's 8 games less played or something like that, something crazy like that because of all those injuries that he had. So we'll put Allison in goal. Now let's go over to right back. I think this is a pretty easy decision. One of the best players in the Premier League this year, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Do you disagree?
Yeah, I would agree. Kyle Walker's been decent, but obviously not at the level that Trent has been at this season.
Yeah, for sure. And then again, I think this is a pretty obvious one. The first center back, Virgil van Dijk.
For
that's
sure.
Pretty easy. So that's 3 Liverpool players so far. With the second center back, do you have any calls for someone that we should put in for Manchester City to make it a non-whole Liverpool team at this point?
Well, not technically this season. I would say Laporte, but this season he's been injured for most of it. But last season for sure, definitely would be in there. But I'd still put him in there just because he's a great center back when he's playing and he very rarely makes a mistake. So I'd put him as a second center back because I think he's better than most of the Liverpool defenders, but despite Man City not winning the league this year and still being injured. So
yeah, I agree. I think he's definitely a top-class center back. Him and Van Dijk, probably 2 of the best center backs in the league. Maybe you talk about Harry Maguire, but honestly, the reason we talk about him is because he's like 80 million pounds, and he definitely was not worth that. But hey, he scored today in the FA Cup, so maybe he's doing
not at all.
But it is what it is. Okay, so to complete out the back line, left back, do you have any calls from City for left back that would make it not be Andy Robertson?
Not really. Benjamin Mendy has been average at best this season. He's made some mistakes that have cost him goals, and Zinchenko hasn't played at all really this season. I know he's injured at 1.2, so I'd say Andy Robertson.
Yeah, for sure. Someone that has been immense to Liverpool being so successful. I think he and Trent are first and second for assists in the league too, which is crazy for first and assist for defenders, crazy for right and left back. And Trent, of course, is second in the league just behind Kevin De Bruyne, who we're probably going to stick in midfield. But let's start with just defensive mid. Who do you think should be at defensive mid? I would make a shout for Fabinho, but Rodri's been pretty good this season too.
Yeah. I think it depends on what type of team you really want. But, if we're talking in terms of ability to play, I'd probably say Rodri because his ability to see a play and make a pass is probably superior to Fabinho. But Fabinho has probably been more solid defensively and definitely obviously contributed to winning the title this season. So, I don't know. For me, I would say Rodri, but if you have a case for, Fabinho, then I don't see why we can't put him there.
I agree with you. I think Rodri's definitely probably the better player in terms of technically speaking, attacking wise. Fabinho's been all immense when he does play well. He has certain games that he's just superb, that he's world class. Before we make that decision, let's move up to the midfield.
Sure.
If we have the other 2 midfielders, we have 2 maybe more attacking midfielders. Maybe we go Fabinho. If there's a more defensive, maybe we can, afford to go Rodri. So I think one of them is clear, probably the best player in the Premier League this season. Kevin De Bruyne. I don't think either of us are going to argue against that.
Yeah.
So we'll stick.
Cannot put him in there.
60 assists could break Thierry Henry's record for assists. Insane this season. So we're going to stick him in the first center mid spot. The second center mid spot is kind of a tough one. I think you guys probably have the better midfield options in that case, but they are more attacking. You could maybe go with the Genie Wijnaldum.
Yeah, that is
maybe
true.
a Jordan Henderson, depending on what kind of player you want. Who do you think we should stick in that second center mid spot?
I would say David Silva, but I think just because we didn't win the league, I'm just going to put Henderson there because he's the captain for Liverpool and obviously played a huge role this season. So I'm just going to put Henderson there.
All right, I agree with that. We'll put Henderson there, and then we'll stick Rodri in just because with Henderson in there, he's not quite as much of an attacking player. So we'll put Rodri in there for that, maybe a little bit more attacking flair from defensive mid position. And so that's our midfield, Rodri, Henderson, and De Bruyne. Pretty crazy midfield. Moving up to the front three, we'll start with right wing. Sterling's been good this season, as has Salah. Do you have any reason Sterling should be in there?
He started off really good this season. He started off good and he looked like he was going to repeat his form from last year and then kind of just slowed down towards the end of the season. Then obviously with the restart, kind of hasn't been looking the same as he has. But I think we could put Salah there. Salah is probably more consistent in games. Even when he doesn't score, he has an impact on the game. And Sterling, sometimes I can't really say that for him. So I'd say put Salah there.
That's a really interesting point. I think a lot of Liverpool fans sometimes have thought Salah hasn't been as great this season and the season prior just because he had that one season that was inhuman. Scored the record of goals. I mean, he was scoring at least a goal a game, doing crazy things. You can't expect him to do that every season. But I agree with you. We'll put Salah in at right wing. Heading over to left wing, my shout would be Mane. He's been exceptional all season. Maybe you could shout Bernardo Silva, but he sometimes plays in midfield. Do you have anyone that you think should be at left wing over Mane?
I mean, Mane's been incredible this season, but at the same time, Mahrez has also been really good this season, but I don't know if I can put him over Mane. That's the thing. Because, I mean, Mahrez is an excellent player, and, the things he can do with the ball is crazy. But Mane has just obviously been far better than Mahrez this season, so I think we have to put Mane there.
Yeah, and with Mahrez, I think he's been playing a lot of right wing just because he can cut in on his gorgeous left foot. I mean, his left foot is one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's been spectacular. I think Mahrez also, just because of the rotation with City, I think we're going to have to put him a little bit more down the pecking order just because Mane's playing every game for Liverpool. Mahrez hasn't played quite every game for City. So moving on to the striker position, I would probably go for Aguero here. Firmino, normally I try to fit him in there, but he, in terms of output, hasn't been great. He's still been the same Firmino that's been key in vital games for Liverpool. But in terms of a combined 11, putting Sergio Aguero at the top of this team, I think, is probably the best option.
Yeah, I don't think you can just not put Aguero in there because, I mean, this Aguero, man, is just a goal machine. He'll get you goals.
Machine, except when he goes to Anfield and plays Liverpool. But, that's another discussion for a later video. But, hey, that would be our combined 11 with our goalie and Alisson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, Laporte, and Robertson. We got Rodri at defensive mid, De Bruyne at center mid, the other center mid being Henderson, and then a front three of Mane, Salah, and Aguero, an absolute deadly front three. A deadly team in general. Shows just how good these two teams are. That are both have had title races for years to come, hopefully. Two teams that are very good. Thanks for coming in, Grayson. Sorry that you couldn't win the league. Not sorry, but hey, that is what it is.
Hey, can't win them every year.
Can't win them every year. Liverpool are champions this year. They play City coming up this week, and this is our combined 11. If you disagree, let us know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. I'm signing off. Ethan Ryder for ER Sports.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going. All I know where I came. When the sun sets, I hope that you remember my name. I don't know where you at. I don't know where you stay. When I run this money up, everything is gonna be okay.